All right, so some quick reactions to Apple's announcement. And the question is, do you need to really get one of these new M3 Macs? Well, I guess that depends. If you're coming from one of the old Intel-based Macs, MacBook Pro or iMac, then it might make sense for you to upgrade. If you have an M1 or M2 machine, I don't think you need to make that investment. Beware, Apple is the master at making you spend money that you don't need to, buy things you don't need just because it's the newest, shiniest toy. I know I'm a Mac user. I've been using Macs my whole life, probably because I'm a Final Cut Pro user. And I use a lot of pro applications, DaVinci Resolve, After Effects, Photoshop. So it's always been better for me to just use, Apple products, and I'm used to it, iPhone and all that. iPads. I got the iPad Pro, whatever. But again, I don't think that the improvement from the M1 or even M2, definitely not from M2 to M3, is essentially the same machine. I mean, there are some tasks that you can do quicker, but the difference really, for me anyway, if I'm editing a video, and it's going to take me from, let's say I got to render a timeline, and on an M1 or M2, it takes 10 minutes, and on the M3, it's going to take 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I mean, it's not really that big of a difference for me to make that switch. I own one of the iMacs 24-inch M1, so I don't think I'm going to be making the change to the new iMacs that were announced, the M3. The MacBook Pro, I might consider only because the MacBook Pro that I have, I'm still is an Intel-based 2017 model. But still, I'm still editing on that machine. I've been using it. I use it constantly on my live streams. To do some simple editing when I'm just doing basic 1080 or even Ultra HD and 4K, and it can handle, as long as it's not a complicated timeline. But if I'm just editing, a couple of angles, couple cameras, it can handle it just fine. So again, with Apple, you always gotta be weary. You gotta be careful because they are the masters at making you think you need the new product. And they always do this, especially because nowadays they're putting out a new product basically every year. I mean, the M1 came out in 21, and the M2 came out last year. And I don't even think it's been a year. It might have been like 10, maybe 10, 11 months ago, the M2 MacBook Pros came out. So again, if you have an M1 or an M2, I think you're good. I know, one of the things I like to do is they like to, especially when the products are similar, they like to give you, like a little new color or something. Like I know now they got like a space black or some new color with some finish that supposedly you don't get as many fingerprints on it or whatever. Again, these are silly things. These are things that, in the scheme of things, they're not gonna do anything for you. It's like if you have a vehicle that's got 500, let's say you got a vehicle with 300 horsepower, and now they put out a new vehicle that's 400 horsepower. I mean, yeah, one can go 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, the other one in 4 seconds, but I mean, what are the practical use where you're actually going to need this extra 2 seconds? You know what I mean? It's not really something that you need to spend money on. Again, if you have one of the M2, M1 machines, again, if you're coming from an old machine from years ago, then it might make sense. One of the things I was curious about was the dynamic catching, which basically it allocates the right amount of memory for each task that you're doing on your MacBook Pro. So instead of wasting memory, this dynamic catching supposedly just uses the exact amount needed for that particular task. Again, that could be handy, could be helpful. But again, not enough of a punch for me to recommend, for me to go out and buy one of these new M3 chips. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Are you planning to go out and buy one of these new M3 Max? Are you going to hold out? Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I'll be curious to see how people are feeling. But that's it for today. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.